me say these for you so that you know how they were intended to be pronounced if they followed the phonetic rules. So we know that EI is a grapheme that makes the long E sound. This was our rule that we learned last week. EI makes the long E sound. So this word would be greepy. I'm going to actually stop sharing just real quick so I can mute everybody, and then we'll go back. Number 2 is treem. 3 is cheaply. Remember, Y at the end of a multisyllable word will almost always say E. Once in a while, I. Most of the time, E. So 3 is cheaply. 4 is checkimp. 5 is dreampy. 6 is chesteem. 7 is friendpleamy. 8 is plentrine. 9 is lepethy. 10 is chiefly. And as a reminder, these lessons are recorded and they will always be under the date that the lesson was. You will see the recording. So today, you will get today's recording tomorrow. So if you wanted to, because I said those fast and it's hard to like take notes on what something sounds like. So if you want to hear it again, you will hear all of these recordings the day after our class for the most part. Okay, so let's go to today's lesson. I have a lot to teach you today. I'm excited. So before we even dive into our phonemic awareness warm-up, I wanted to talk to you about voiceless versus voiced sounds. And I'm probably going to teach you just a few of the true, pure sounds of the alphabet every time we meet, because we do a lot of work on the vowels, but we don't do as much work on the consonants. So I want to make sure that I teach those to you a little bit at a time. So letters, graphemes, are categorized into 2 categories, voiced and voiceless. A voiced sound or letter means that your voice box is used. There is sound that's happening. All the vowels are voiced. You can hear them. When you put the palm of your hand against your throat and you say a sound, you say a voiced sound like a vowel, or even just when you're talking, you can feel the vibrations in your hand. All of those vocal cords are working as you make a voiced sound. A, E, I, or B, those are all voiced sounds. All of the vowels are voiced. Some letters are voiceless, and it's really important when you go to decode a word or when we do our phonemic awareness warm-up, that those letters that are meant to have only air don't have any voice attached to them. So for instance, H is not ha. The sound for H is only air. The sound for F is not fa. The sound for T is not ta. P is not ha. QU is not qua. Did you hear all of those uhs at the end? That is a typical mistake that needs to be corrected for our reading skills to become fine-tuned. There's no there's no sound at all at the end of a voiceless letter. The correct sound for H is h. F is f. S is s. T is t. P is p. QU is qua. So did you notice that there was only air that came out? Okay, So I wanted to start with that because when we do our phonemic awareness warm-up, it's going to start with an H. So one other thing I want you to know about voiceless letters is they are difficult to break off the sound in a word. They're difficult to break off because they want to attach to a sound. For instance, the first word is hopscotch that we're going to be breaking the sounds apart in. It's going to be difficult to get that ah off of the h, but it must be done. So be careful when you are breaking apart the sounds in hop, that the first sound is not ha. Okay, that's two sounds. H and ah is also voiceless. S is voiceless. Is voiceless. Be careful when you get to scotch that the does not attach to the ah, which is going to be difficult. So it's not going to be ka, it's k, and then ah. Okay, so let's try it. Before we do hopscotch, how many sounds in hop? I know you know how to read it. I know you know how to spell it. Put the letters out of your mind. We're not thinking about letters at all. No letters should be involved in our warm-up. Only sounds. So how many sounds in hop? Only hop. Put it in the chat. Nice, Con. Good, Cantrell. Yes, very good, everybody. So hop has three sounds. Did you get that with only air? No ah, no no sound attached to it? Sounds like it because all of you have gotten that word correct. Very good. Every single person got hop correct. Now let's make it longer. Hop, scotch. Take your time, stretch it out, and then separate the sounds and count how many. We're to put the spelling of it out of your mind. It's just going to mess you up if you think about the letters. Give you one more second because it's a doozy. Okay. Sounds in hopscotch are ah, s, ah, ch. 7. Ah, sk, ah, ch. 7. Nice. How many sounds in clock? Clock. It helps if you stretch it out. Clock. And then you can break it up. Very good, everyone. Clock has 4 sounds. K, o, ah, k. Very good. 5 letters, 4 sounds. The CK at the end is a grapheme. It's a digraph. 2 letters that make 1 sound. Well done. Okay. This next one's a little harder. How many sounds in otter? Otter. Don't think about the letters or it will mess you up. Just the sounds. Otter has ah, t, ah, t, 3 sounds. Those 2 T's, of course, make 1 sound. ER is a grapheme, actually. ER makes 1 sound. So there's 3 sounds in otter. Ot, Well done, everyone. Wow. Lots of A pluses on this today. Nice. Okay, let's come down to our new, we are doing a combination today of all of the rules that we have learned so far for E, just for E. So those who are new, we do 1 letter a month. And it does kind of build onto itself, but if you're new, you're never too far behind because every first class of every first month, we start with a whole new vowel and Everything else is left behind. In September, we did A. We're not going to talk about A again until next September. This month is E, and then it's all about E, all the different rules for E. Next month, it will be only I. So if you're coming in at the end of a month, you're still going to learn a lot from today and from every lesson. But don't ever feel like you're going to be too far behind, because we start fresh at the beginning of each month. So what we have learned so far for E is the tap 2 rule. So it's long and short sound. When you come to an E, tap the next 2 letters. If either one of them is another vowel, then that E is going to make its long sound, E. If the next 2 letters are consonants, then the E will make its short sound, E. And I'll demonstrate that in our practice today. We also talked about E at the end. I'm talking a lot and I'm talking fast, and I am putting a lot of information into your heads in a short amount of time. So I'm glad these are recorded so you can go back and listen. E at the end of a longer word is usually silent, almost always. E at the end of a short word can be heard. He, me, she, we, be. But if E comes at the end of a word with another vowel in it, it is usually silent. Okay, so we're going to go over that today. We will go over EA, which follows the tap 2 rule, and it's just a shortcut for making the long E sound. Same with EY and same with EI. Okay, the EA, EI, and EY are all reading hacks. They're all shortcuts. They all make the long E sound, and they all follow the tap 2 rule. So let's do this in real time so you can see what I mean, especially if you're new. Okay, so I'm going to do number 1. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat today, guys. Okay, I'm going to circle all my vowels. I can already tell by looking at this first one that there's a double consonant after it. Whenever that happens, you automatically know that that E is going to make its short sound, eh. Same for any other vowel. If there's a double consonant, like 2 F's, 2 T's, 2 P's, then the vowel is going to make it short sound. That's a reading hack. That E is going to say eh, I can already tell. There's an E. Here is an EI vowel team. That guy gets circled, and he is going to sound like a long E. This I'm going to tap 2, 1, 2. There's only consonants there, so it's also going to make it short sound. Now I'm going to pencil read it. Just as a reminder, when you have 2 of the same letter, you don't have to sound them out twice, only once. S, E, FM preem. That was a doozy. That one's hard. Let's try yours. I'm going to mute and clear my throat while you guys mark that out. Mark it. Looks like a German word. This is how, if it was German, it would say something else, but we're going to pretend that this is an American word. So this E we know says because there's a double letter after it. This E we know says because there are 2 consonants after it. 1, 2. This EI we know is a reading hack that says the long E sound, E. When we pencil read it, it's n, s, t, e, n. I'm going to go slow. N, st, Ettenstein. 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 And if it was German, it would probably say Ettenstein. I don't know. I'm no German expert, but it looks like a German word. Okay. Number 2. circle my vowels so that I can identify them, because why do we concentrate on the vowels? Do you guys know? Put in the chat if you know why we concentrate so much on the vowels. Because you can read the vowels, you can read the word. If you can figure out what those vowels say, you can figure out what any word says. That's why we do nonsense words, so that you can learn that you can read any word, whether you have seen it before or not, if you know how to figure out the vowel sounds. Okay, so this first E has two consonants after it, so it's going to make it short sound. EY is a reading hack, and it makes the long E sound. So this word begins with a three-letter blend. A three-letter blend is three consonants. They each make their own sound, but it's important to pronounce every single sound within that blend. And here's a two-letter blend right here. PL, pull. Okay, so the word is st, p, o, e. Stremply. 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 Now, a couple things I wanted to say about that. First of all, is if you said that with me, make sure, and if you wanted to do it now, make sure that when you pronounce that E sound, that short E sound, that your mouth is open, kind of medium width. If it is not, then it will come out as an I, and it will come out as an I easily. You have to kind of force your mouth open a little bit, so it's stremply, not strimply. The short I sound and the short E sound are very similar, but we have to learn to discriminate between the bigger and the more narrow I. Two different sounds, okay? So this one is stremply, stremply. And if you noticed when I pencil read that word, that the first two letters were voiceless. R is voiced, the vowel, of course, is voiced. M is a sustained sound. You keep your lips together when you pronounce that sound. If you open your lips, another sound will come in. It'll be ma. The correct sound for M is just There's a voiceless p after it, and then a voiced o. Your tongue stays between your teeth on o. Otherwise, another sound will come in. La. So we have to make the pure, crisp sounds of the letters in order to read effectively. Okay, so let's mark yours. So if we pencil read that word, listen to how I pronounce each of these sounds. Some are voiced, some aren't. O, S, E. Plethry, 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 with the medium width. So it's not plethry, plethry. Give your mouth plenty of space on those plethry, like you're singing a song and you want to make sure that comes through loud and clear. Plethry, plethry. Not too big or it'll be No, we don't want plethry. We want medium width, plethry. Okay, let me do mine. I can already tell that this is going to be short because of that double consonant after it. Here's an EE vowel team, which is a reading hack. It makes the long E sound. It also follows the tap 2 rule, doesn't it? Because 1, 2, yes, there's a vowel there. So yes, that first E is going to say its name. Hang on, I'm going to plug you in. Okay, so if I pencil write this word, it's team. 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 I have a feeling a lot of you got that one right. Team. Yeah? Okay, let's do yours. So we have e, p, with no sound, just p. Meep. 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 Will you put in the chat if you got that? Yes or no? It's okay, Blair. It's all right. Meep. Meep. Let's see. How are we doing? Kinda, Ben? Okay. Had a bit of a bump? Meep. That's all right. You've never seen these words before in your life, guys. These are words that you have never encountered in your life. And so perfection is not required. Only effort. All effort makes gains. Okay, here is my number 4. There's a vowel. Here's an EI. That is a vowel hack that we learned said E. And don't forget this Y. It looks like a consonant, doesn't it? But Y is only a consonant if it's the first letter. This is really, really important. So I'm going to spend just a minute letting you know. I had a student yesterday who was pronouncing a word with Y. I think it was in the middle or at the end. I can't remember. And he pronounced it as yeah, because that's what you learn in kindergarten. You learn that Y says yeah. No, it doesn't, guys. It doesn't. Y only says yeah, like 1% of the time. It hardly ever says yeah. I wish they wouldn't teach that to kids. It only says yeah if it's the first letter, which is rare. There's not too many words that start with Y. Yes, yesterday, yak, yam, not very many. Y is a vowel if it's anywhere else in the word, which is a lot of places. So Y is almost always a vowel. In this lesson, Y is a vowel at the end. Let me rephrase that. Y at the end will say E most of the time. Okay, so where were we? Here's a E, here's a EI that says E, and here is a Y at the end, usually says E. If you have to guess the long E sound because you're going to be correct most of the time. This has 2 consonants after it, so we know that it's going to make the short E sound. Okay, I'm going to go nice and slow. Here we have, listen to how I pronounce the consonants. Some are voiced, some are voiceless. T, O, E, S, E. I'm going to go really slow when I blend this because it's a doozy. Start with 2. Tur, tre, trem, tremp, tremple, tremply, trempleef, trempleefy, trempleefy. Okay, let's try yours. Okay, if we pencil write this word, it's O, E, N, E, N, E. The trick is in the blending. You can know phonics just fine, but it's applying phonics that is hard. You can know what the letters say, no problem. You can identify all of these sounds. You're intelligent people. The hard part is when it comes to blending, especially an unknown word, and remembering the sounds at the beginning by the time you get to the end. So that's why we go just 2 at a time, and then just add 1 at a time, just to make sure you do it correctly. So we have pole, ple, plen, plent, plenter, plentry, plentrine, plentrini, plentrini. Okay, I'm getting some nods. I hope that's good because that one's a hard one. Nice, Vanessa. Well done. Okay, we have 1 minute left, so let's use it with our extra practice. Which one do you want me to do with you? Go ahead and put in the chat. Which extra practice word do you want me to do with you? Yolanda? Okay, we have a number 9 and number 4, number 7. I'm going to have to go with the first one that I got. We're going to do number 9. Okay, so number 9 it is. It's a doozy, but we can do it. We can do hard things. Circle our vowels. There's one. I like that guy because he's an easy one. He has 2 consonants after it. We know he's going to say eh. Y at the end usually makes the long E sound. Tap 2. 1, 2. Yes, there's a vowel there. So yes, it's going to say its name. Tap 2. 1, 2. No, there's not another vowel there. So no, it's not going to say its name. It's going to say F. Okay, so we have O, E, P, E, N, T, R, F, E. Lepentrefi. That was fun. Lepentrefi. Just say it. You'll feel good about yourself. Lepentrefi. If you say that at dinner, people will be impressed. Lepentrefi. Okay, so you just learned everything almost that there is to know about E in the month of November. You learned a lot. E is actually one of the easier vowels to learn. A is the hardest. E is one of the easiest. It's pretty straightforward. If there's another vowel after it, that E is going to say its name. Y at the end usually sounds like a long E. E at the end sounds like nothing. So it's been fun learning about E. Next month, next lesson. Wait a minute. Is this Wednesday? So next week, I'm going to teach you about I. So next month, in December, it's going to be a short month. So I picked I to go there. We're not going to learn the vowels in order. After I, we're going to jump to Y. But I picked I because I is easy, you guys. You thought E was easy. I is the easiest vowel to learn. So you can learn it in 2 weeks. Easy peasy. So I will see you next week when we will begin I. And for the rest of you, if you don't have a question, then I will see you next week. I hope you have a good weekend. If you do have a question, feel free to hang out for a few minutes and ask. You're free to unmute. Bye. You're free to unmute or put it in the chat. Can't wait for I. All right, who's unmuted? Who's going?